truth really is about a
Exactly.
certain race. Now,
And the protests are peaceful. It's only the crackdown, that's when the violence starts. Of course, people are going to react when people are coming at them with, shields and batons and tear gas. Of course, you're going to fight back and react. That's just natural. You're not just going to take it. But up to those points, most of these protests are very peaceful, and they're just asking to be heard.
Now, do you think now, in general, because we haven't had the kind of protests that they've had in the U.S. in a volume of that magnitude, because of course we're a smaller population. But do you think most Canadians, I would say voting Canadians, because you were a politician one time and you felt that you maybe have a voice in Parliament.
Right.
Do you feel that voting Canadians care enough about this racism issue?
I think Canadians do, but I don't think Canadians understand how actually deep it is, because we've seen time and time again where somebody from a marginalized community is shot or killed, and it's usually by police, and it comes across saying, it was self-defense and so forth. But there was never that second look to find out, was it really self-defense, or was it just, things that went really bad from the police ends? And I think we need to review that, because I think a lot of Canadians are starting to realize that, we have issues here, but we're not just being told about them. In the US, they have body cams, cell phone footage all the time. There's so many people, so they're catching things. And I think we need to actually take a relook at everything that's happened, because I think a lot of the things that have happened here, we need to take a second look, because I think a lot of the things that happened to certain marginalized communities was not handled in the correct way. I think that the police need to be more accountable for what happened.
Now that you said that, I'm trying to word this properly, because I asked in another conversation of mine, I wanted people to understand that this was not coming from a racist point in my mind. This is coming from fact. Each year, every time we vote, I vote. But I noticed that Toronto has a very high 5.7 million people in this city or more, but they don't vote. What is happening with the census? Why doesn't the census work? Why don't the government know who's living even in these new buildings going up? Nobody seems to know who's living here. Isn't that what the census is for?
The census usually gives you an idea of the community, so it can get resources for it. That's a good question, because I don't know the answer. I think that's something that we really need to look at. I think we really need to get people to vote, because here's a perfect example of what's happening in the US. They're catering to the people who will get them into power. So when people don't vote, they cater to the ones who are going to get them into power. But I think things are changing. I think people are starting to realize that, something, it's going to get worse if you don't get out and make your voice heard. And I think things are changing.
Okay, that was the road I was going, because I'm trying to tie it all in together. I want to understand the voting. I want to understand the racism. I want to just understand the mindset of Canadians, people that really value their lives in a sense of voting, working, taking charge of their lives, contributing, and just the mere fact that they're Canadians or Americans or whoever they are around the world, trying to just be part of where they come from, and yet still embracing others.
One thing that I think that we really need to do, it's going to change everything, is that we need to start supporting people from marginalized communities, people from different backgrounds, to get them into the political process. Because honestly, I'll be honest with you. I have with the NDP, the Liberals, the Greens. It's pretty white. I'll get to be honest with you. But when you see such good community leaders out there, and something, we simply can't just wait for them to say, I want to do that. We need to start approaching people in the community, say, you're really a good leader. You should consider running. Let us help you. We'll help you build up a team. You're such a great leader, for this community. Why don't
Well,
you make it on a larger level? So we need to encourage people to actually come forward who actually are great leaders, and so that we will have a more diverse, more representational group of people who are being elected and running.
it seems that even our community, everybody, we have all these programs that seem to band-aid the issue, and then when it gets hot, the band-aid falls off.
I know. It's true.
And it happens a lot here. And for me, just being part of our community, and you know how hard I've worked in this community and got beat up many times.
Exactly.
But
You're
yet,
literally damned if you don't, damned if you do.
there you go.
But
Now,
you need to do it.
yeah. You gotta toil on. I mean,
know.
I'm lucky now. I don't have to do too much, but I have to. My mother say, "You better do something."
Well, you are doing
You don't have
something.
to
You're
do
raising
too much.
awareness through this medium, and it's important. We just need to make sure that when it comes election time, instead of just waiting for someone to step up, or like a group of people saying, "Oh, you have a good chance of winning," go out, and if we see, a prominent Black person who's a really community leader, go up to them and say, something, have you ever thought of it? And if they say no, say, well, how about what you think about it? Meet some people. We'll raise money for you. Don't worry. We'll get you out there because we need your leadership in the community. Not because you're Black, because you're just an amazing leader, but you need to be representative of your community. We need to have a representative of everybody. It can't. If you look at Toronto City Council, it's pretty white.
Now, for me, not that I'm picking this person out to pick on this person, but for me, I find that our community was thriving. I mean, when you think about it, Dean, 20 years, 25 years ago, which is a short period of time, in a sense, even though we're older now.
Our prime, 25 years ago.
And we were something else. But
I know. Botox keeps us looking good.
Thank God. Ooh, Lord, that 60 is coming soon. But anyway, now a few of the politicians were from the LGBT pronoun two-spirited community. I'm trying to say it all because somebody corrected me, like I said the other day. I forgot something, and I was like, okay, and here comes an argument. But like I said, a few of the people that were in our community were politicians, and some are now politicians in a sense. Now, there's one particular person that was supposed to be looking after our community, or this is her ward.
Okay.
And
I think I know where you're going.
Yeah. So I want to know, we have done so much for her from even when she owned Timothy's. I used to perform for her when she had her photography and museum studios, and did a lot of things for her. And she was good to me, I must say. But she doesn't seem to be able to accomplish nothing on that city council for our community.
Here's my answer.
Is it that these people have gotten so rich and they just don't care about the community anymore? Because to be honest, our community is slowly disappearing. Church Street, the village, is slowly, but we consider it dead.
We
consider the community here dead. So it's not like it's making money anymore like it used to.
It's not. It's closing down.
Yeah, it's not like we have a cause. It's not even like we have a reason to even go on Church Street. So many bad things have happened there now. It's like an embarrassment to even walk down it. Before, we used to be grand and carrying on and acting all silly and all that. And it used to
sometimes it's hard to even be gay on Church Street now.
So I don't know. What do you think needs to be done? I'm not going to say bring the village back because that's not going to happen. But where are the young people to go? What are they to do? These kids are marching in the street now for racism and equal rights and all this stuff. What's going to happen now? We're skipping the month of Pride. So, children have an attention span. Tomorrow, they be forgot about all of this and be back on social media taking selfies and trying to hook up.
I do have a solution. I've always believed this. I said it before. Term limits. How can, an activist from any other community come in and even make a difference if the sitting councilor has been there 10, 15 years? They know all the donors. People are comfortable with them because they know they're going to predict. But how can you make change when these people just refuse to move on? It's like it's like the car's been sitting idle for I don't know how long. We need to move them up, but they won't go. Yeah, and they talk about we need a more diverse council. Then just go so we can get people in who want to run who can be more diverse. But it's like all whitey then. They're going to sit there and they're going to do their own. I love the term all whitey then instead of already then. But they won't move. So how can we get young members from the Black community, more people from the Asian community, trans community, Indigenous community? How can we get them into government when the old time stock just will not get out? It's like you've done your bit, just go on, move aside, let other people come in, let them move up to the ranks, let them bring in their own individual ideas and solutions. Can you imagine if a new group of 20, 30-year-olds were elected to city council and they had all these great ideas and they could solve the problems, and all the old guard that's been there for 10, 20 years have just moved along and went on. You go into an election for public service. Do your bit and then move on and let somebody else bring in their ideas. There's no new ideas coming in because they're all refusing to go.
Now, I'm gonna have just a couple more questions, then we're gonna wrap it up.
Okay.
Now, where do you see the future for the village itself? And how do you think the protest and the protest about racism, now that this is brought attention to a big problem within our community, what do you think is going to happen?
Well, right now the village is virtual. I don't even think there is a physical village anymore. Slapping a rainbow flag on a window is not a village anymore. There really is nowhere to go. There's nowhere to hang out so much anymore. I don't feel like there's a community. We're a virtual community right now. We've lost that basic need or want to connect because we can do it virtually. We can know everything about everybody, and then we can just go meet them if we want to. But I don't think that the politicians are taking the money that's coming into the city from all these developments and helping us set up spaces where we can meet, where we can congregate, where we can empower people within our community, like the Indigenous people, the Black community, the Asian community, the Latina community. We're not even doing that anymore. It's all virtual now. We need to actually start investing back into the community where people can come and feel safe, feel safe and express themselves and have their ideas acted upon, because I don't see that happening anymore. My God, I would love it if you ran for politics.
Oh, thank you, Dean, for coming on. It's always a great pleasure to talk to you. And you're such a cute boy, so it makes it easy for me to talk to you. A cute man, and it makes it easy for me to talk to you. And I want to just say thank you so much today for enlightening me about your perspective on the whole thing that's going on. You really cleared up a lot of things that, for me and maybe a lot of people, hopefully will learn from our conversation here today and understand that everybody has a different view about how to improve things and where we should go. And hopefully at the end of the day, people will just do the right thing.
Get out there. Yeah. Get out there and make yourself seen and heard. Remember that I think he was 16 years old in the States. He's organized a march and the police chief came out with him. That's a leader. That young man's a leader. Yeah. If you're young, whatever community you come from and you want to be heard, go out and make something happen. People will join you. People will follow leadership. You just need to go out there and step up and do it. And if anybody's out there doing it, you can do it. Whether you're Black, Indigenous, whichever community you're from, just go out and say you want to bring people together, and people will follow. And we need leaderships like you if you're watching.
In other words, just do something.
Do it.
Do it.
Don't
All right.
hesitate. Do it.
Thank you, Dean, for being on my show today. Ladies and gentlemen, I had Mr. Dean Marr on my show today, a great friend of mine. He ran for city council in 2010. He's an animal activist, and he's just a good guy all around. And he gave us his input on how he feels about what's happening in the LGBT pronoun two-spirited community and the protests and the march. And we want to say thank you, Dean.
And you're all beautiful people, and just be kind to people.
Be kind to people, and remember, people, wear your masks for the corona.
Exactly. Social distance.
And just be kind to each other. And you know what? Until next time on the Stephanie Stevens Show, thank you, Dean.
Love you. Love all of you. Thank you for joining us.
Over and out, mister. Have a great week.